This is the Kinglucky X7 bone conducting open ear headphone, and I've now used this a fair bit for approximately 2 weeks. And if you are familiar with bone conducting headphones, this follows the same pattern where you've got a very flexible wire that wraps around the back of your head with the actual bone conducting portion that wraps over your head, just like you can see in this image in the packaging right here. As far as the standard features of this headset goes, on the what goes over your right ear, you've got the volume down and the power button, which is right here. So you on the pad that sits on your jawbone, you've got two buttons. So it's volume down, power on or power off, and volume up. On the other side, you just have your USB, which is USB-C, which is great. You have a USB-C connector, and that's where it gets its power. I presume these other sections that sit behind your ear, one side of which has the Kinglucky logo on it, these are just battery, I presume. So very easy to use, easy to pair, no trouble at all that way. Couple of points besides what I've already pointed out. It's a pretty high quality product. It's got a nice feel to it. It's comfortable. It's light. Doesn't pinch against my head at all, and I've got a large head. So the couple of things for those of you that have used bone conducting headphones before, these pads that sit against your jawbone are bigger than most, in my opinion. So they just sit a little larger against your ear or adjacent to your ear, and then the other thing is that they don't quite get a volume level like I am accustomed to with some of the higher quality or more expensive bone conducting headphones. They work fine, and especially if you're using these for phone calling and for audiobooks and so forth, which is primarily what I use them for, it doesn't give me any trouble. If you're using these in a really noisy environment, you're probably gonna have to put in some earplugs so that you can isolate the sound better that's being transmitted through the bone conducting portion of these. And these are just a subjective comment. It's not meant to be necessarily a negative, because I have now, this is my fourth or fifth bone conducting headphone test over the last year and a half. This is definitely on the lower volume side. I've learned also that the more expensive versions typically have a little higher volume. I don't know that money necessarily equates to that, but that's my observation so far. The last item is that if you're familiar with bone conducting headphones, and it's important to you not to have any sound bleed as for people around you, or minimal sound bleed, this is kind of somewhere in the middle. I've had worse and I've had a lot better. So if you're listening to music or you've got an audiobook in your ear, somebody within a couple of feet from you is easily going to be able to hear that you're listening to something. It's muffled, of course, because most of the sound is sitting right against your jawbone in your ear, but it does have a little bit more of a bleed than I have experienced with some of the others that have more of a total focus on the bone conduction portion. So for that, if you've never used bone conducting headphones before, they're wonderful. It's all I use now for everything except for high fidelity music that I really want to isolate the world and listen to great sound. If you're getting these for music and you've never used bone conducting headphones before, you're going to be disappointed. That's not really the purpose. The purpose is that your ear is open to all the sounds and activity around you. It's very similar to talking to somebody in the room with you, having somebody walk in and start talking. It's that nice. So for phone calls, for audiobooks, for light music as you work, it's great. But if you're looking for amazing sound for the price, you're going to get something quite a bit better with the market's current, especially wireless Apple AirPod type headphones. So I hope that helps. These are good headphones, and I recommend them.